I mean, I've already started recording, but someone on my Twitter has liked one of my tweets, and their Twitter handle is Williams didn't follow me. Nice.
All right then.
On that case, then, welcome everybody to the F1 debate today. Normally, I record these on like a Tuesday or something like that, and then release it on a Tuesday. But today, I decided to record it right now, mainly because it was, as you can hear by the yawn from my guest Ewan, it was terrible. It was such a bad race. It's laughable how bad it was. We just come off of the Spanish Grand Prix. Obviously, today we saw Lewis Hamilton pick up his 88th career victory, I think it was. Yeah, it was an absolute bore fest. But in the comment section down below, guys, if you guys prefer the F1 debate where it's a bit more conversational and I start to bring in other people, let me know. And perhaps we could do it a bit more often. Or if not, then obviously I'm happy to do it by myself. It's kind of nice chilling and having a little bit of a chat. But anyway, I mean, I'm just trying to get the results up on my screen. Pretty much all it is was everyone was a lap. Oh, sweet. Everyone was a lap down, bar the top three.
Apart from top three.
Yep. There we go. I've got them up on here. So yeah, we had a dead Grand Prix, basically, an absolutely dead one. Do you want to put your thoughts in first, or you?
I mean, Vettel actually got somewhere.
He did actually. For
I'm
once
proud
in his
of him
life.
for that. Very proud. I mean,
that...
Racing Point doing their thing. That's about it, really.
I was gonna say it's not really much to say. Okay, I mean, today what we saw then. So obviously off the start, Bottas didn't get a good start, and he lost out to Verstappen and Stroll at the start of the race. Nearly lost out to Sergio, but managed to hold on in that.
My boy Stroll.
Nico was actually... Rosberg put a very good point out there. Stroll, Bottas at the start, he literally just opened the door for Stroll to go on through. Like, I know he wasn't going to... He lost out to Verstappen because he couldn't take Lewis's slipstream. But the fact is that you can't just leave the door open into turn one. At least cover that off. And then as soon as everyone starts moving back over to the racing line, move back over with it then. Because you'll have it covered off in the first place. So I thought that was really poor racing from Bottas. To be honest, it was... This race, to me, signified every single weakness that Bottas has in Formula 1.
Yeah, pretty much. I mean,
he had a bad start. He lacks aggression at the start and versus Stroll. He could have got past him the lap before he did, but was just, again, really not punchy. He got past Stroll. He didn't have any pace against Verstappen.
It took him a while as well. It took him like an extra 2 laps to get past Stroll, which cost him trying to get to Verstappen as well.
It did, yeah. It took him a lot longer to find his way through, which was pretty daft. But yeah, and then as soon as he got past Stroll, like he wasn't a threat to Verstappen, and he wasn't a threat to Hamilton in the slightest. I mean, he would have finished. He would have finished, barring his pit stop. I mean, he was 44 seconds behind. Take 22 seconds, add a little bit on because obviously he set fast lap. He would have been at probably about half a minute behind in the end, which is I don't understand where you could be half a minute behind all of a sudden. Doesn't make sense. Yeah. This video, as you can tell, is very dead because the race was dead. Moving on though, so we saw obviously Albon. I'm going to touch on Albon for a second. So he started in P6 for today's race. He ended up finishing in P8. Strategy went onto the hard tyres. The only man in the entire field that run the hard tyres in today's race. But he was, poor. Absolutely poor. Credit where's credit's due though. When drivers have made their overtake on a driver, he was straight away reacting on it. That driver that had been overtaken, he was so very, very quick with his reactions and his awareness to see that a driver had been overtaken. Bam, I'm coming in there, I'm going in for the overtake. And he got them done, but still, it's lackluster. Like, you know, as Martin was pointing out, and I think you'll probably agree with, is that, you know, if Red Bull are going to put any extra challenge to Mercedes, he needs to be up there, because if they do one thing with Verstappen, if they do one thing with Verstappen, then one of the Mercedes can respond to that, and then they've got another Mercedes to do what they want then. Which,
it's just unfair.
It
pretty
is,
much.
yeah. We saw that in Austria. Remember when no, I keep saying Austria. It was the Styrian Grand Prix, still in Austria, when Bottas
It is
did
basically.
the strategy to Verstappen and got through, and Albon was nowhere.
Yeah.
And for me, Albon, if he was to be better in, he should have just stayed out. Really, I don't know why Red Bull thought let's chuck him on a set of hards. It didn't make sense to me, that strategy at all.
Just.
It was kind of a strange one in there.
I mean,
So what else happened? Oh yeah, the dark clouds were better than the race itself.
oh yeah, those were really scary. I mean,
I know
everybody knew that was going to happen.
they were menacing. Rain after lap 50. I literally just put out a tweet and just said not happening because it wasn't going to.
I just put out a tweet saying don't give me hope. Fucking, of course they do. Just mean.
It's just so poor.
Just rude. Okay.
Oh, what was a very dead Grand Prix though? I want to give credit where credit's due to some form of entertainment between Lando Norris and Charles Leclerc. Because those two scrapping was a hell of a lot of fun. I really enjoyed that. So I'll give that a bit of credit here and there. In the race itself, they were going at it for...
Until...
Yeah, as you were going to say, until Leclerc's engine cut out. And that was his race done and dusted in there. So not a very good race for him. Although, decent race for Seb. But still... Just
made a one-stop work as well. Proves why.
He did. He stayed on the soft tyres for, I think it was 40 laps he was on those soft tyres for.
40-odd laps.
It's ridiculous.
When they said they were going to go for the one-stop, he'd already done like 25 laps on him. He still had another like 15 to go. I was like, there's no way he's pulling that off. Not on softs.
I'll check now, because I'm pretty sure that, what was it? I think Tom97 said how many laps he had done. There it is. He did 36 laps on those soft tyres.
Jesus.
Which is ridiculous. Absolutely incredible race pace. But for me, I think Ferrari threw that race away, actually. Not with Leclerc, because, I mean, Leclerc was 8 seconds up the road from Seb at the time. It was actually 5 seconds from the time. He was on medium tyres. He could have done a one-stop. But, again, Seb was literally saying on the radio, can we do X amount of laps on these soft tyres? And then all of a sudden, however many laps later, Ferrari were like, do you reckon you can get to the end? And Seb's like, I've already asked about this. If Ferrari are going to keep working on their underperforming car, and you'll probably agree, they need to, if someone's asking about strategy,
the relationship.
Yeah, I know they're going to leave at the end of the season and part ways, but you're still in the same team together at the moment, and you can't have miscommunications. And if that was the case, I don't know the actual outright pace, but we don't know how fast Seb was then actually pushing, thinking that he wasn't going to do a one-stop, and then had to rechange his, his driving attempt. So
approach, yeah.
It was a bit of a strange one, but we'll run through the top 10. We could probably run through everyone really, and then we'll pretty much go team by team, I think, and pretty much just give a little quick overall, and then any other final thoughts here and there as well. So it's obviously Hamilton, Verstappen, Bottas. Stroll, Perez, Sainz, Vettel, Albon, Gasly, Norris, Ricciardo, Kvyat, Ocon, Raikkonen, Magnussen, Giovinazzi, Russell, Latifi, Grosjean, and Leclerc was the only man to DNF, and only 3 cars finished on the same lap, because whip-de-doo. I think it's quite easy. Mercedes starting things off, good day in the office. Bottas, though, has got a lot of problems that he needs to fix.
With the car he has, how is he still third in the championship?
I was about to ask that, yeah. I don't know. I really don't. People can argue. I actually. This is weird because in last week's F1 debate, I defended him quite heavily. Actually, in this week's F1 debate, I'm now a bit. I'm punchy on him. Yeah, pretty much. But I feel like you've got to be that way. Because I completely agree with you. In that car,
if you're in a top car like that, you have to be on your game every weekend with a 100%. Teammate like Hamilton as well.
Yeah, 100%. I totally agree with that. He's won one race this year. He's had 2 pole positions. I think this year he's had first, second, third, DNF, third, if I'm correct in saying. I could be wrong on that.
No.
But that's just not good enough in that car. Both Verstappen and Bottas have had a DNF each. So there's no leeway in terms of, well, not a DNF, but a a race where they failed to score points.
Yeah.
But why? I don't really know where he goes from here. He was really downbeat, Valtteri, wasn't he, in the 70th anniversary Grand Prix?
Yeah.
But he was just not with it again this weekend. He was not really quicker than Hamilton in any of the practice sessions. He was slower in all the qualifying sessions. And what was key was that Lewis did one Q3 lap, wasn't happy with it, was failing then to improve and go even better than that. Bottas was purple in the middle sector, still didn't beat it by 5/100ths. Well, he was actually slower than that in the end, but. And then obviously off the start, which just didn't get the best getaway. I think Lewis maybe could have probably given Valtteri a slipstream to help with the bad start that he had. He could have tried to move over. I don't know if he wants
to help his main championship rival.
Not really, no. Again, you can argue as well that Verstappen is, in quotes, outclassing with that Red Bull car. I feel like the Red Bull to me feels very similar to the 2019 Merc, would you say? Like, it's not a quali car, but it's very good in race trim.
I could not answer that question, to be honest.
Okay, well...
I'm not the guy for
that. See, I have more knowledge.
I have bad memory.
Fair. Even. In 2019, we saw, for example, in Belgium, Ferrari got pole position by like 9 seconds.
That was with the dodgy engine from Ferrari there. It's so dodgy there.
Granted, yeah.
Something it's just.
Yeah, we
goes off about that. How can you go to have like the best engine on the grid to be like second last or last? I think behind Honda.
I think what they've really been slammed by Ferrari is that because they had such a great engine, they started to lose out there in the aero and chassis department to Mercedes.
Yeah.
They then built a car to try and help fix that, and then their engine has been clamped because it was probably not legal, probably illegal. Sorry, and then now they've been left with an engine which is much worse because they've had to take a step back because of their little grey areas, and then they've got a car now which is extremely draggy and they've not got that balance anymore. So that kind of sucks on that end. Difficult race for Renault. They didn't score a point today. Ricciardo P11, Ocon P13. Ocon was stuck behind the Alpha.
Ricciardo was in 4th at one point as well.
Yes, Ricciardo did a one-stop today, actually. In fact, I've just seen on the timing screens, both Renaults did a one-stop today. Didn't work out, though. Ocon was behind the Alpha for a long time. Ocon had a dreadful weekend.
Yeah.
And they had the head of Renault there this weekend, so yeah, they were satisfied with that one.
Great.
Not at all, no. Good credit, obviously, like I said, though, for Racing Point. They had great race pace this weekend, so credit to them. Yeah. Sainz outperformed in that McLaren. He had a bad start. He was behind Norris, I think, actually, was he not? I can't remember.
Yeah. At one point.
But did he do a one-stop? No, he did a two-stop. But he did soft, medium. He did... In fact, Sainz was the only man on the
stint different.
I know Norris did a soft medium as well, but yeah, he made that stint work for him really nicely. Credit to Perez though for doing the one stop. But what I was going to say actually is, in this race weekend, people probably agree or disagree with me or not, right? When I complained about the Pirelli's tyres heavily in the last race, this is the type of Grand Prix where I'm happy with how the tyres actually work. They don't blister after like 6 laps. And we saw 1 stop, 2 stop, and 3 stop. Oh, Bottas did a 3 stop because he was just, useless. But, we saw a variety of strategy, but the race wasn't down to just tyres.
Yeah.
So for me, this is when I was complaining last week. If you have watched this debate video and you've watched the last debate video as well, this is what I'm talking about in terms of a better race. For me, this was... if you can't beat them on track, which it's Spain, so you won't, mix up your strategy, do something different. Sainz did something different. Vettel decided to go to a one-stop. Perez went to a one-stop. There was people doing soft, medium, soft, medium, soft, hard, medium, for Albon's case. So, this is the type of racing and type of strategical element that I want to see in Formula 1. I want to see two-stop races or people pushing a one-stopper. What I don't want to see is, I think, what people overreacted on, and I think maybe I overreacted on a bit, but, it is what it is that I don't want to see them coming out of the pits and after 3 laps, their tyres have completely opened up and less than 40 miles coverage, because that's just ridiculous on tyres. Today, it was much better balance. This is the type that I want to see moving forwards. Would you agree or not? Because you were...
I would agree with that.
I was going to say, because I wanted to check on it just because everyone disagreed with me pretty much after what I said last week.
No, I mean it's fair enough. You don't want to see them constantly managing their tires. You want to see them pushing,
Exactly.
being
That's what I
forced
was.
into something.
Yeah, that was my complaint. Obviously, on the hard tires last week when Hamilton had pushed probably 6 laps or so just to get past Leclerc and Bottas, and half his tire had already opened up. Like, to me, that wasn't
Yeah,
satisfying. Whereas today we saw that they had to do a lot of tire management, but it wasn't over the top. Like, they got it right. If
yeah,
they used these tire compounds at the 70th anniversary Grand Prix last weekend, I still think it would have been an entertaining race, and I still think we would have had mixed
yeah,
strategies. It wouldn't have been as extreme though, because even those mediums, Verstappen stretched them, to 24 laps, because I'm still classing them as mediums because
yeah,
it was the same tires, etc. So he would have, you potentially could have done a one-stop medium to hard, but then we don't know how the hard would have performed, because here at Barcelona it was a useless tire, and it could have been the same in Silverstone. It may have just been useless because it was too hard and the higher tire pressure as well. So that's probably the other thing as well. It's the lower tire pressure which kept the tire temps down slightly.
yeah.
But with that being said and done, there was nothing incident-wise to me to even think of analysing. So
Perez possibly.
potentially, yeah.
Doubts about him.
There was only one replay of that, and he got out of the way. Or
Yeah,
he got out of the way, but
it's not like he had anywhere to go. He's not just going to stamp on the brakes like too extremely early to get out of Hamilton's way, because he could have gone into the back of him.
I couldn't see. There was one replay that they showed when they went onto the pit wall with Otmar Safnar. I can't even say his name properly, but anyway. And it was just... Nah. I mean, yeah, no one can. But he didn't exactly... He got out of the way. He didn't exactly get out of the way, but, he let Lewis through, didn't put up a fight.
He didn't get in the way, but he didn't get out of the way.
Yeah, and... I don't know. I think it's a bit... Like I said, at the moment, it just looks a little bit harsh, because that's the only replay we saw. And if he got the DRS in the straight, he was quite a little bit way back as well. So he wouldn't really have been holding him up in the chicane, because he would have had to have held him up for the entirety of the last sector to do something like that. Which to me doesn't look like he did. So...
No.
I don't think it was on... It must have been... It could only have been on Lewis, but... Don't know. Felt like it was a bit harsh on him for that front. Danny Kvyat also got one as well, but didn't see it either. So I have absolutely no idea what's going on moving forwards. But
I mean,
Drivers' Championship wise, I mean, Hamilton now has a 37-point lead out front, so he's pretty much taken the 7th world title. We think anyway. The only hope of the comfort that we've got is obviously we're coming now into the next part of the season where we've got all the new circuits. So it's a complete blank playing field. We don't. Like here in Spain, Mercedes have been very, very dominant.
Dominant over the last few years.
Yeah, apart from obviously 2016 when they crashed out. I think they've had pole here from every race since 2013 because they got front row lockout in 2013. Same as what they've done in Silverstone. And they absolutely flew it through. Whereas in these other races coming up now, it's more unpredictable. And we've, of course, got my personal favourite circuit on the F1 calendar coming up. Very, very soon, which is the Belgian Grand Prix. You looking forward to Belgium?
I mean, I don't know. My spirits have been kind of dampened, so I would hope.
What, because this race was
my spirits
so
get
bad.
better. Yeah.
Yeah, that's the problem. This is actually.
I need a morale boost.
Yeah, we need something. This is the thing, right? Is a lot of people slated me last week. A, because I hated the tyre thing anyway, which is fair enough. Got a lot of dislikes actually. I don't know. That's fine. I don't really care. But B, if I was talking in this Grand Prix right now, I would actually be upbeat. I'd be celebrating. I'd be saying, X, Y, Z. Mercedes get that dub. I don't care. It was such a bad race. And this is what people hopefully by the end of not by the end, but as the series progresses, this F1 debate series, you'll understand that I am an avid and passionate Formula One fan who happens to support in Formula One Mercedes and Lewis Hamilton as team and driver. I don't care if they win like they did today because the race was terrible, and that's what counts more. Is good racing, and it was bad.
Yeah.
It wasn't a fun race to watch. I would
got me to add some more dislikes. I'm an avid Lance Stroll fan, as we know. And I couldn't even celebrate him getting P4 because I was that bored.
That's what I mean. And, for Ewan's sake, he's a Lance Stroll supporter. Are you Racing Point as well, or are you just Lance Stroll?
Yeah, I'll go Racing Point as well. Why not?
Yeah, so
I've got no issues with him.
Basically. In his sense, then, so he supports Lance Stroll and Racing Point, and he's in the same boat as me. He's an avid Formula One fan, but supports Stroll and Racing Point. So despite the fact that Stroll has managed to claim P4, which is a brilliant result, it doesn't pave the way from the fact that it was just a crap race. So it doesn't really mean anything in the long term. So, I think no one is going to be looking forward to the Belgian Grand Prix today. Tomorrow we will, because, like I said, it's my favourite circuit on the calendar. It's going to be, hopefully, an absolutely cracking race with some overtaking, because you can overtake around there. Yeah. And then we've obviously got a lot of high-speed races come back up again moving forwards. But, guys, I think that's pretty much it for this. Just want to quickly say shout-out to Raikkonen for achieving the record of driving the most amount of miles in a Formula 1 car, lapping exactly 2 laps of the Earth on the equator. So, big up to
Jesus.
Yeah, that's the stat. If he drove 2 full laps
of the Earth.
Yeah, 2 full laps of the Earth driving on the equator is how much Raikkonen's mileage he's done in Formula 1. That's ridiculous.
Credit to that.
I didn't think you'd do that. I thought you'd do that stat. Crofty's been saying it all weekend long.
I knew that he was I'd gone furthest. I didn't know that it was 2 laps of the fucking equator.
Yeah, it's ridiculous. And obviously as well, Lewis Hamilton, he takes the record for the most podium finishes now in Formula 1, 156. And he's also on 39 point scoring finishes, and I believe the record of just consecutive finishes is 41 or 42. I think Nick Heidfeld has that. Let alone point scoring finishes, just finishes in general, moving forwards. But guys, I think that's pretty much it for the F1 debate. There's no point in dragging it on any longer because nothing else happened.
Grosjean had a spin. That was.
He did actually, yeah. That was well held actually from him. That was very well. Yeah. I thought he was going to bin that in the wall. I also thought there was going to be a safety car. I thought there was going to be a safety car for Leclerc. Yeah, I saw him on the track and he was on there for quite a long time. And obviously they could have just chucked out the safety car straight away. But when they would have seen all the data, his engine cut out. And if he couldn't get it started, then it would have been a safety car. But at least give him that time. Keep the double wave yellows out. If you can't get it started, he'd get out the car and then they call a safety car out. But it would have spiced things up. I believe Red Bull said to Verstappen that they were going to box if there was a VSC or a safety car, but it never happened. So that kind of ruined any form of extra spice that we could have had. Until then, though, that's kind of that, really. Is there anything else that you want to add? Because every time I tried to outro, you've just thought of something out of the blue.
Hang on, let me find somebody. Hang on.
Okay, find someone. Go on. Whilst we go through this,
Gasly,
big up to
Gasly. Only 1 place behind Albon. He's fighting for his. He wants that seat back. His statement.
I was literally about to say, as you were going to find something, I was going to say, big up to Gasly for getting points. Cracking result for him today. Again, he's trying to get back into that Red Bull car. Do you think then Gasly will be able to get back in that Red Bull car by the end of the season? Do you reckon?
It depends on Albon's run. If he goes another 3 or 4 races back in 8th and 9th, I reckon he can have it back.
Yeah, I think
if he's not in the top 5 in the next few races, he's in trouble.
Might as well actually in this section of the F1 debate, because I'm actually having another person alongside me. We might as well debate about a couple of other drivers and what we are thinking heading into the rest of the season, because of course there's nothing else to talk about from the races standpoint. So
very much.
Yeah, so we talk about Albon and Gasly then. This is tough because I agree with you. Albon today was absolutely horrendous.
Oh.
Yeah.
He wasn't helped by his strategy.
Yeah, his strategy was very, very poor from Red Bull. Going on the hard tyres and coming out in traffic, he would have just been better off doing what Racing Point did and just staying out. He was in DRS range here or there and just stayed with them, copied their strategy. I get what they're trying to do, but when you're in the midfield like that, it's not going to work.
Yeah. Especially at a track like that as well.
I've said it every single week on the F1 debate. Albon is a very good racer. He's just not. Yeah. It's tough. I think the best way for me to put it. Yeah, I think the best way for me to put it, and you can disagree with me because I'm going to compare it to Stroll here, is that he's a good racer, but I just think he's in the wrong car.
Yeah.
I think he's just, he's a top midfield driver. He's in with probably not even the race.
He's a McLaren-looking driver.
Yeah, he's like sort of McLaren, Renault, AlphaTauri, that type of little band of cars. He's not a Red Bull driver. I can't defend him any further. He can't qualify any higher than like P6 at this moment in time. I don't even know what his qualifying performances have been this season. I'll get them up actually. Whilst what's he done?
Right at one point. I tried to defend him in the Discord, and I came up with a bunch of stats, but it's clearly just getting wiped out the window at this point.
What's his? Yeah, so this is his races this season. So he obviously didn't score anything in Austria due to the electrical problem, which took him out of the Grand Prix, as well as Lewis Hamilton. P4 in the Styrian Grand Prix, having to fend off against a charging Sergio Perez. P5 in the Hungarian Grand Prix, that's finishing behind Lance Stroll, and he only got in front of Vettel because Vettel made 2 mistakes. Silverstone, he got P8 in that Grand Prix. The 70th anniversary, he got P5 after overtaking Stroll, but he still finished behind another one of the... They finished behind Leclerc in that race, and then here he got P8. So he's been 4-5, 8-5-8. That's not good enough in a Red Bull. Not at all.
No.
I don't know what his qualifying record has been this year.
Not with Red Bull's closest challenger behind being Racing Point as well.
Yeah, he's struggling to get in front of them. I'm just trying to get up his qualifying record this year. 2020. Has anyone got it?
I can have a scout.
I was trying to scout. I was trying to see what he had, but it's not. I'll just have to go onto the F1 website and get them up instead. But again, in qualifying, he's just not. He's not there at all. It's just something's not working for him. Oh, here we go. Is this it? Qualifying. Perfect. Here we go. I'm up. I'm with it. 2020. Let's start. So in Austria, then. Albon qualified in P5. Not bad with qualifying. And he eventually obviously got taken out in that Grand Prix. I know what people are saying as well, right, is that he's had, he got taken out of Brazil, should have got a podium. He was taken out in Austria, should have got a podium. Do you think those podiums would really make a difference? Because for me, I don't think so. I really don't. Because the only reason that he's been in contention for those 2 podiums is because of a safety car and him being on a different strategy. That's the only reason. Because he's so far behind that he can afford to pit basically every time.
Yeah.
In Styria then, he got P7 in quali, out-qualified by Ocon, this was in the wet obviously, and Lando Norris and Sainz.
Yeah.
Hungarian Grand Prix then, he qualified in P13, out-qualified by George Russell in the Williams.
And didn't he possibly cheat on the grid?
Potentially, yeah, because there was the leaf-blowing fiasco.
Incident.
Yeah. In the British Grand Prix, he qualified in P12, behind Gasly. In the 70th anniversary Grand Prix, he qualified P9, I think it was. Yeah, P9, behind Pierre Gasly. And then here in Spain, he qualified in P6, which, at the end of the day, it wasn't good enough, because Verstappen in Q3 did a 1:16.2, Albon did a 1:17.0. 8 tenths off. At no point, actually, looking at all these qualies, has Albon got within 6 tenths of a second on Verstappen in qualifying this year. Yeah, he hasn't.
I mean, then there's just nothing to really say about that, is there? It's just not good enough.
No, that's really poor. Jesus, I didn't think it was that bad.
Wait. Just...
Yeah, so... I think he'll. I think they'll give him the rest of the season because it's not an official type of race calendar that we were expecting.
Yeah. It depends how they respond to all this criticism about them getting rid of drivers too quickly and not giving them enough of a chance.
Sure, yeah, because they've done that. You
could say he's had enough of a chance. Yeah.
Yeah, you could.
He's had what? At this point, he's had around a full season in Formula. Not far off having a full season in the Red Bull.
He started in Belgium last year.
Season.
Yeah, Gasly only got half. He started in Belgium, and obviously we're in rounds. This is round 6 of this one, so yeah, he's had near towards a full season. And to me, in 2019, like I said, I think he was Vettel was phenomenal on recovering for races.
Yeah,
but
like he did in his first race at Belgium.
Yeah, because he was constantly getting like P5 or whatever that. But the biggest problem that I think everyone seems to be falling back on is that, yes, Albon's having great recovery races when he's been getting P5 and etc. But if he doesn't have
he's
a
in
recovery race, he's probably going to just get P5 anyway. It doesn't make a difference if he recovers or not. He's still going to finish in P5.
The difference with like last year, P6 was good enough and where he was meant to be. This year, P6 isn't good enough.
No. Because Red Bull are in a fight with Mercedes. As much as people...
It's not like he's competing with Ferrari on top form or whatever.
Yeah, I mean, the easy example is Verstappen is competing with Mercedes and Albon is competing with Ferrari, McLaren, Racing Point, AlphaTauri, McLaren, Renault. Just be in a midfield team then and do that. Not in a top team and do it. And I know people can say, Verstappen, the car's built just for Verstappen. Well, I'm sorry, that's complete bullcrap because a Formula One team is about two drivers and it's about a constructor as well. The reason that Red Bull didn't get P2 in the constructors last season is A, Ferrari's engine was probably illegal, and B, they had a heavily underperformed and very off-paced Gasly, and Albon...
Half the year then, and
Albon. And Albon wasn't really always there.
Young new drivers, new to the car and everything, trying to adjust.
The worrying thing, I think, is that I could see Gasly going back in the Red Bull, but if he starts to struggle a little bit then again, where does Red Bull go? Because they don't exactly have... they don't have someone that can...
They don't look like they're confident in returning back to Kvyat.
No. I think that's ridiculous as well.
They don't have faith in him.
Because he had... he had a good 2015 season. I think he beat Ricciardo that year. He had a podium in China. Then he goes and has a dreadful Turn 1 incident where he takes out Seb. And then he's just demoted instantaneously. Pretty much probably because they wanted Max in there. But...
yeah.
He got absolutely shafted. I'm surprised he's still in the program with them, to be honest.
I mean, he just wants a way back into F1.
Yeah.
I mean, no matter how much you get betrayed, you want to be in F1 if you're a driver.
Yeah, 100%. The only two teammates that have ever put any form of authority against Verstappen and put him a level pegging is Ricciardo and Sainz.
Yeah.
They're the only two. Sainz was very much an equal match to him in the Toro Rosso. 2018, when that car was not favoured for Daniel Ricciardo, they clearly had their eggs in Verstappen's basket. He was... I think he finished... It was a long way back. I think Verstappen had 249 points and Ricciardo had 170, but Ricciardo was classified in 12 of the 21 races.
Yeah.
Put that into perspective.
He had a very rough time with engines.
Constant engine problems. Constant problems with that thing. Which left him pretty much in the dust. Good showing, I guess, for... No, I was about to say for Williams, but they finished P17 and 18. Kind of... a good showing from Alpha, I guess. Raikkonen P14.
I guess, yeah, they're not on the back.
Bit of a step forward for them this weekend. Giovinazzi still useless.
I mean, he made up a few places in the race, considering he started last at Spain.
He did. So he gained one place off of Latifi at the start. He would have then gained one off of Russell, got one off of Grosjean somewhere here and there. Oh yeah, no, he got that overtake done on Grosjean into someone, which is why Grosjean had the carbon all over the floor. And then Leclerc DNF'd, obviously, which gave him a free position in there. But I think that is kind of the basis of everything covered. I think we've gone through.
I mean, Jeremy Clarkson just tweeted, just woke up, what happened? Pretty much. Sum it up.
Basically, the championship top three in the standings are where they are in the race. That's all you need to know. Pretty dreadful. I don't think there's anyone else that we need to really talk or debate about.
Not really.
No, I think we're kind of cool with that. So, yeah, guys, thank you very much for watching. Ewan, appreciate you coming on and testing out a new little feature for the F1 debate. If you prefer the type of conversational thing, let me know, and maybe we could do it a little bit more in the future when we've got people around and available to do it through. But if you have enjoyed the video, though, drop it a like and subscribe to the channel if you're around here as well. And yeah, we will see you guys for the F1 debate. Not next week, because there's actually a break for once. So we'll see you guys after the Belgian Grand Prix, where we'll be reviewing that. And hopefully I will be sitting in this chair talking to you guys and saying what an absolutely fantastic race it was and trying to contain all of my body functions. I think that's about
right, a Stroll podium.
And for you and Sake a Stroll and a Stroll podium. Take care, all.
If that happens,
what?
I better be here. Just saying.
What?
I better be here.
Okay.
I want to be here. If that happens, I want to be here.
Fine. If Stroll gets a podium, I will invite you onto the F1 debate once again, so he can celebrate in fine style. And it will be half an hour of me trying to explain it to you, and it'll just be yeah.
Yes, that will be true.
Is there anything is there anything else now? Because every time I do something,
I don't think so.
Right, do you know what? I'm ending it. Peace.